Hi guys, this is Max here, back again with hopefully another great political video, and today we're taking a look at the Senate elections of 2022. Yes, yet again, they need some coverage. Now, as of right now, it looks like Republicans are still slightly favored over the Democrats in the generic ballot. However, their lead is not as big as it was in the spring, and also it is less big than it usually is for the opposition party in a year where they're not in the presidential office. Now, it does look like this map that 270 to win came up with, even though it isn't too far off, it has some slight bias in favor of the Democrats. Now, first of all, Ron Johnson in Wisconsin stands on pretty solid bedrock feet. He has a very high he doesn't have a high approval in the state, but he has a very long and strong history of outperforming Republican candidates both in the WOW counties around the Milwaukee area. He doesn't really do that well in the Driftless area, but in northern Wisconsin and in the Milwaukee suburbs, he does very well. And because of the Milwaukee suburbs, both Tony Evers and Joe Biden were able to win in 2020 or 2018 respectively, and that's where Johnson will do the best in, and I have my doubts that he's going to lose. By the way, shout out to him. He supports lowering the drinking age to 18, which means I won't need my fake anymore. Anyway, the state of New Hampshire currently is being shown to be lean Democrat, and that is probably the case, especially since the Republican candidate in the state of New Hampshire appears to be running a double standard campaign where he said that Donald Trump won the election during the primaries, and now he went around and on Fox News he said, no, actually the election was legitimate. I have my doubts he's going to win, but because it's a midterm election year and because New Hampshire residents are pretty upset about the gas prices and everything, there's still a chance for him to win. But yeah, actually, you could put it as lean. I don't think he's going to. Anyway, the state of Pennsylvania, I will make the call, will stay red, and Dr. Oz will be the next senator of Pennsylvania. Now, thinking about how Butters beat up Dr. Oz in South Park, this is really a development that I can nothing but cherish at. But the reasoning behind this is John Fetterman has cowered it away from debates, and what he used to be perceived as this big, strong, powerful dude who makes right decisions is just no longer true. And he's running a campaign as if the entire voting base consisted of millennial Twitter users. He is not really out there in the real world campaigning. He's mostly just in his basement punching out a few tweets. I mean, that's pretty nice for the online world, but that's not what helps you win a general election. Meanwhile, Dr. Oz is actually campaigning his ass off, and he's trying to win. I mean, he wants this badly. And also the weed flag probably didn't help John Fetterman, because even though weed legalization is very popular, for whatever reason, people don't really like to see it advertised or anything. Either way, I don't think that Dr. Oz has this thing locked up, but as right now, he is favored. Excuse me. In Georgia, Herschel Walker, I think, is still favored to win. I mean, Raphael Warnock is not super unpopular. Maybe the race will actually be a little closer. However, the fact of the matter is, what Herschel Walker has going for him is he used to play for the University of Georgia. He was a running back, and you should never underestimate the college football vote in the South. Also, Walker is just overall a very likable figure, somebody who approaches people very nicely. And Raphael Warnock, he actually did have some skeletons in his closet about rape allegations, but the Republicans did not properly utilize it. Either way, I think Herschel Walker is favored to win, mostly because it's a red wave year, and Georgia is actually still a pretty conservative state, which is going to re-elect Brian Kemp by probably around 5 percentage points. So I have a hard time they're going to elect Kemp, re-elect him to the governorship while giving Herschel Walker the boot. Now, next I would like to cover the state of Arizona. And this is really not easy for me on a personal level, but I will keep it in the lean column simply because Mark Kelly has the money, he's been dominating the airwaves, and despite the fact that he votes 100% in line with Joe Biden, he still maintains the image of a moderate, which is very important in Arizona. Well, Blake Masters is really not the type of candidate you want in any type of swing state. He has been with Donald Trump on the election 100% of the time. He was one of the main figures behind the Arizona ballot audit, where they didn't just recount, but revisit the ballots, recheck them for signatures and everything, and it didn't change the outcome a tiny bit. So, I just think, sorry, man, but Arizona, it's going to stay blue, and Mark Kelly's going to get his full 6-year term. That is not going to happen in Nevada, though. And actually, I'm going to put this as lean. Because despite the fact that Catherine Cortez Masto is not really hated, her opponent, Steve Sisolak, comes from a family that has a long history in the state of Nevada, and he outperformed all other Republicans by a lot when he ran for governor was it governor or some other for attorney general in 2018. He did really well despite the fact that it was a pretty bad year for Republicans. So in the final conclusion, I believe the Senate will be 52-48 for the Republicans. However, it is far from what the Republicans could have gained had multiple factors not happened. Like, if Roe v. Wade would have been overturned, that would have always given the Republicans a slight setback because Democrats would be more motivated. But what I believe really turned the tables in this midterm is both the very radical laws that many Republican state legislatures passed in regards to abortions, and also the undeniable reality that Donald Trump was a more dominant topic in the news, and the January 6th committee really brought January 6th back to the memories of many Americans. And no matter how much people on the right like to deny it, it is a fact that people are not just going to forget and move on from that thing. And it is a fact that Donald Trump said to the people that stormed the Capitol that he loved them, that they should go home in peace, but that he loved them, and that he apparently also loved the man who smashed a police officer's head with a fire extinguisher. So anyway, I think the Republicans wasted great potential, but they're still ultimately favored to win. Now, if you guys like this video, subscriptions, thumbs up, always greatly appreciated. If you didn't, feel free to leave a nasty comment. I'll read it. Have a good day, and Max out. Bye-bye.